Hello everybody, Vigos, Shadow here, and today we have a new event unit for the regular character pool, and it is Wandering Swordswoman Annerose. I've been delaying this video. It is part of the regular character pool, so I mean, normally, you shouldn't go for this banner, and then you'll probably hopefully find this unit in other banners that you pull. And since this is an event unit, I'm not going to be like physically showing like pulling. Instead, I'm going to be doing something a little bit different and something a little bit more effective with just these types of videos. So we're just going to go ahead and go into profile here, and we will take a look at her. We'll do her stats first, then skill, then awakening up at the top just to show you. So I guess usually I show base stats, but instead we should just show the max stats to see what you're getting here. So this is what the max stats, like if you have her at level 100 with SS++, is going to look like right here. It's going to look like 12k power. Here's the health, the attack, the defense. The crit rate is 3%. Then you got some attack and defense rate there. SP boost is going to be at 5. You got 17% for the evasion, which is good. Accuracy 20%, and there's the rest. There's the grouping as well there. Then we're going to go ahead and move on to the skill. So we're going to go to the initial ones for that, so we can just see it right off the bat. So let's take a look at her hidden technique, the Azure Sky Flight. So this is her ultimate here. It's cancels 3 times buff effects on a single enemy, which is really good, by the way. Especially if you're going to be going for bosses. Like, I always see bosses are going to buff themselves in some way, so canceling 3 buff effects on a single enemy would be great. That means you're basically going to want to use this hidden technique first, and then you're going to want to follow up with the ultimates on the other characters next. Further inflicts the 1700% damage, nothing to boast about, and then inflicts dark on self for 1 second. So that's a little bit of a debuff, but it's only for a second, so that debuff really doesn't matter. The biggest thing is canceling the buff effects on the single enemy, which is awesome. Now let's see what this looks like when it's awakened. When it's awakened, it cancels 5 times buff effects on single enemy, which is even better. So 2 more buff effects, that's great. It's going to really help to see like certain bosses that just continuously do that, or just have a lot of buffs in general, so I could see that being very useful. Further inflicts 2000% damage and inflicts dark on self for 1 second, so you still get that debuff regardless. It's 1 second, so it really doesn't matter. The damage is, I would say, okay. I'd say okay. Nothing spectacular there for the hidden technique. The biggest thing is the canceling of buff effects right there. So now let's go to Warrior's Honor for the second skill there. And this one raises the attack of all human allies by 30% for 15 seconds. So this is, again, this is one of those units where you're going to want to, like, probably look for grouping. Now, we had this recently, too, with the Great Isolon. Both characters needed a certain requirement, like, of getting the certain grouping. So it seems like they're getting a lot of groupings going on with these newer units here. But with human allies, you can just go for Rose, you can go for Iris. I mean, but I guess there's not a lot of a whole lot. Eclair is another one. But yeah. So raise the attack of all human allies by 30% for 15 seconds, and speed by 30% for 15 seconds. Raising an attack and speed is really good. Also further raises the healing boost by 40% for 15 seconds if red elemental. So you're going to want red units, you're going to want human units, and what you're going to find there is pretty much just Iris and Rose. And I think, Lambda's an elf, so yeah, nope, just those. So it's very specific with this one, like the healing boost. I guess we could go without the healing boost. Just having the attack and the speed is pretty good. But this is 2 requirements, which is, it makes your teams very restrictive with that kind of, essentially you're building your teams around this character. And when this is awakened, it goes to 40% for the attack, 40% for the speed, and a little bit of a 30% boost for the healing boost, which is, I'd say it's pretty decent. That 10% on the others is better, though. So Warrior's Honor is not bad. Now let's go to Cerulean Stormblade, which is going to be a 4-hit. It's good, and it cancels a buff effect. So that's right off the bat, that's already good. Because you're finding yourself canceling a buff effect, and then you have a hidden technique that does that. So you don't really need the hidden technique to cancel a buff effect, which is nice. So that's actually not bad because it's a decent bit of damage. It's actually, yep, so 500%, which is pretty average, or I'd say slightly above average. And this one is going to be able to do 2 buff effects. And then, of course, a little bit of a damage boost there, which is like 200% more, which is nice. So it's not really that bad. Actually, you probably want to see this on the Awakening roadmap, I'd say. So you can cancel 2 buffs, which is nice. Now let's go to her Wandering Swordsman ability here, which is at the start of the wave, raises own attack by 15% multiplied by the number of humans in the party, permanent. Now that's right there is good, but it's only your own attack, so. And then it also further raises your evasion by 20% multiplied by the number of humans in the party for 5 seconds. So you're really going to be wanting to obviously move your party around to have a lot of humans within your party, which could be very tough. Iris, and Rose is all I could really say there. So I guess the red elementals don't really matter too much unless you want that healing boost. It'd probably be best if you can get a red elemental. Like obviously, like Iris and her pairing is gonna be good. But yeah. So this could go up to, like, if you have like a full team of humans, like I don't think it counts yourself. So let's just say it's just 4. So times it by 4. You know you got 60% raising your own attack right there. And if we multiply that by 4, we get 80% evasion, which is excellent evasion. That'd be really, really good. Now let's see the positioning on this one. So it's actually, I think this would probably be kind of like mid-row with the positioning. So it would be better if she was like more towards the front. Or actually, I think she is more towards the front. But based on the placement, you know, you kind of want her more ahead because of her evasion then, if you're building human teams as well. Now, let's go ahead and go into the Awakening roadmap. We already want like a few things that you want to see right here. Like this, you want to see Awaken because that's going to be massive amount of change right there. That's 10% increase, and then it's being multiplied too, which just dramatically changes that. So this is probably going to be at the end, watch. So we'll go into the Awakening roadmap right now. Wait a minute. We actually have her last ability right here at Awakening 1. Which is absolutely insane. I did not think they would reveal this one right off the bat. So having her at A1 is very, very good. Especially, like, I can see it being, you know, very well for, like, PvP, especially. So she's going to be, like, just a really good unit there. Because you could raise your attack and evasion right off the bat with that Wandering Swordsman. And then you can raise your attack again with that other one. And I think this is Warrior's Honor, which is going to be... but this is allies, so it's not yourself. But either way, you're buffing the allies and then you're buffing yourself. It's pretty nice. It's not bad if you can actually make a human team work. But now let's just go back into the Awakening roadmap. But we have Azure Sky Flight, which is the ultimate there, which is not bad because you get to cancel even more buff effects and have better damage. So having her at A2 is not bad because you want that Awakening. Now, A3, we have the Cerulean Stormblade Plus. I probably mispronounced that, but oh well. The extra damage is nice, and the fact that you can cancel another buff on top of that is even better. So you do want to see her at A3, especially when you have this character as part of the regular character pool. Like, it's bound that you'll probably pull her at some point, hopefully. And just having her at A3 would just be very nice. Obviously I wouldn't spend any of your, you know, your crystals on characters that you see in the regular character pool, only like Event and SF. Then we have the gear slot at A4, and then they tuck away Warrior's Honor, which is pretty good for buffing up the allies, but I'd say it's not bad. The Awakening roadmap actually looks very nice because 1 through 3 is actually really good, especially with 1 being probably the best thing to see on her roadmap there. So, like, you know, that's what it would look like max as well. Yeah, it'd just be really, really good, I think. So, we're going to go into her magic gear next. So, let's just take into consideration what her magic gear might be. So we're going to go ahead in here, take a look down. And Annerose sword is Wandering Swordswoman. A Annerose sword at the start of the wave raises dark resistance for red elemental allies by 100% permanent. Now, this magic gear is actually, like, I'm gonna say it right now, like super weak as far as the special effects go, because honestly, it's just dark resistance. Now, you can base that, like, it'd be good to bring, like, for specific bosses, but I feel like it's just a waste of a special effect. Now, if we had dark resistance and maybe some other resistances, like, that'd be better, but if it's just solely dark resistance, that just makes the magic gear weak, unless you're facing something that literally does dark. So, honestly, right there, yeah. I mean, this weapon isn't as good. But, I mean, I bet it would probably be nice to have just to raise the abilities, because you want their gear anyway. And that's gear you can craft. So, yeah, should I, like, make this character a priority? Like, if like, let's say you pull this character on the regular, like, on any banner or whatever, and you just happen to get this one, well, should I place it into my team, or how does this unit stack up in terms of, like, on the tier list? I know I made a tier list not too long ago about, like, characters in the regular character pool. So, like, where would I place this one in terms of the tier list? And I'm gonna go ahead and say I'd probably bring her at, like, maybe, I'd say in between a B or a C tier for this type of unit, because you really have to base it around the fact that you have good human units. Now, we can go in and you can look to see what type of human units you have to make it work. I know pretty much none of the starting, besides like Iris and some other few, some other few ones, like right off the bat, I already said that Iris is going to be a very good pairing for her, because you know you can see in the grouping it's human. And then Rose would be, but if you want red elemental, but if you don't have it, then this Rose would be fine for that. But usually you want to stick to a certain one, so this Rose would work as well. So this one's also human, so you're going to find that to be on your team. I don't know if let's see here. Nope, Victoria's an elf. But like Claire is also a red tank, so that could be there. You know, like I said, you don't really find a lot of human units. I don't even think she is either. Nope, she's vampire, of course. But like I said, it's actually very difficult to find specific units. So this is going to be human, John Smith, but that's a tank. Is any of the Sids human? Let's see here. This one might be. Let's go here. Yeah, so pretty much any of the Sids are probably going to be human too. Like, you just want to, like, go ahead and look at your certain characters that are going to go well with this grouping. Like, you can play around with it. I mean, Alexia is human as well. But, like, at that point, you're, like, mixing and matching colors. So to find, like, a specific, like, human units for red is going to be very difficult to pair with Annerose. Maybe in the future when they drop some more human-type characters. Because this, I know, is elf. Yep. Yeah, it's going to be hard to kind of create those type of teams. But, you know, if you can make it work, then, like, and you have a really good setup, B tier, but I feel like more often than not, you're going to find her floating around the C tier with not a lot of people to buff. So that's where I place her, in between B and C, depending on what type of units you got. And, yeah, that's pretty much about it. Vigo, signing off.